Soundstripe.
I'm Shelley Cox, founder of the Regional Collective, where we're all about empowering entrepreneurs like you. Our podcast is for anyone navigating the world of small business, especially in regional areas. I'm based in the Barossa in South Australia, a place where I love, have 3 young children, and also play community club netball. My previous career as a winemaker has taken me all over the world, to New Zealand, Japan, the USA, and all around Australia, but there's no place like home. I've started not 1, but 4 businesses from the ground up since 2018 and have helped over 50 other small and micro businesses, and I can't wait to help share my lessons with you. Over the coming weeks and months, you'll hear tales of success, challenges, and community spirit in small and micro businesses. Let's redefine small business with big hearts and determined hustle, and be inspired to thrive. Hi there. In today's episode, we're delving into the art of showing up in your brand story. And I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Kat Crane from Crane Creative, a regional guide from the Collective. Kat's got a wealth of wisdom to share on understanding your brand story, being authentically you, and mastering social media storytelling. Kat will demystify brand storytelling, uncover how to find your unique brand tale, and maintain authenticity while connecting with your audience. Plus, Kat will spill her tips on getting noticed on social media. So stick around for a quick Q&A where Kat will tackle some of our community questions, and we'll wrap up with a recap of key points so you can get started on sharing your brand story today. Ready? Let's do it. So today we've got Kat. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be looking at how you can show up in your brand story. So perhaps give us a quick intro into what your experience is with crafting brand stories, especially for small and micro businesses.
So I think a great case study to start with is my own, funnily enough. So when I started, my business, which is nearly 7 years ago, where's that time gone? I wasn't showing up in any of my photos, or, I wasn't really sharing my story. And I think I was about 1.5 years in before I actually had a photo of myself on my own grid on Instagram. I was watching the trends of what was happening, and this was the time when stories were starting to become a lot more prevalent, and, talking on the camera and all of those things. And I'm like, I don't think I can hide anymore. Yeah. So I put on my big girl panties and I contacted a photographer and did my first brand shoot. Yeah. Something that was completely out of my comfort zone, something that I'd never done before, and started using that. My engagement went up over 300%.
Yeah.
So
funny about that.
Funny, because really the thing you need to remember is that, especially when it's you and you're running the show and it's your business, people want to know who they're dealing with. Yeah. So you've really got to put yourself out there so that it's like almost breaking down the anxiety of meeting somebody new. Yeah. They've already got a sense of who you are and what you're about. Yeah. And that will draw more people in than hiding.
Because I think, and you would probably find, and I've had comments, that people who have followed you on Instagram and Facebook feel like they know you, and then are not surprised that when they meet you in person, you're exactly like you are.
It's kind of like that's the whole point.
That is the whole point. But I think that's also where you completely understand that, and you do a really good job with your clients as well of making sure or encouraging them to turn up and be themselves. And whether they do have a small team or a large team, but it's about tell those stories, tell who's working behind the scenes, share that, because that engages people. We're naturally interested in other people as humans.
Yes, we're all voyeurs.
That's right.
And I say it regularly, the Wizard of Oz, I think if anything, has taught us to be voyeurs, because we all want to know what's behind the curtain.
That's it.
So, you don't have to give away the whole kit and caboodle of your whole entire life. Yeah. it's social media. It is your highlight reel, to some degree. There is merit in showing when things go bad as well, because,
it humanises
who you are. Yeah. But, you don't have to show absolutely everything.
Yeah.
But, what you do show is enough to be able to create a story and get people to get to know you, because at the end of the day, it comes down to know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
So if you're putting yourself out there and showing up within your brand, people get to know and like you. And then the idea is that they will then give you their money.
Yeah. And how would you recommend, so small businesses, micro businesses who needing to really sort of like hone in, how would you recommend that they get started in uncovering that brand story or sharing that brand identity? How can they, what are some just simple things to start doing?
Start. Yeah. I'll take it really back to grassroots. It does. You don't have to go out and have a photo shoot, you don't have to do TikTok dances. Geez, no. Hopefully, I think the days of that is done. I hope. Let's leave that for the tweens.
So we're probably not the target.
And also they're not your target audience either. But it is, it can be, setting up your camera and actually, having a few poses and having a timer on. Doing a few selfies, just start.
Time lapses.
And doing some time lapses.
Doing your work, because again, people are interested in behind the scenes.
What's the process?
Yeah.
And if you're not ready to turn the camera around on yourself, you can have the camera turned away and talk to it, or do a voiceover of stuff as well.
Or show your hands making something or doing something.
All of those things until you get yourself feeling like you're ready.
Yeah.
And, I don't think that it's a lack of confidence, because you've started a business.
Yeah.
You have the confidence in yourself to begin with. What you're missing is, I think, the permission in yourself to be able to do it, the curiosity as well. So, it comes down to, giving yourself permission to show up and be you.
Yeah.
And, the worst thing you can do is put on some kind of show of what kind of person you could be,
or you think you should be,
because it's not sustainable.
No.
You don't want to be, I'm your hype girl all the time, because that is exhausting. Be real. People can see through bullshit.
And also think about when you do meet, you might meet customers in person. Do you want them to be confused by the person that they're meeting, or the brand, the people behind the brand, and go, well, that's not who I thought I was dealing with? So that doesn't create trust.
No, it's a lot of disconnect. So, be real, but give yourself permission, or, hey, I'm giving you permission right now to show up in your brand.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
And it's baby steps. I'm not expecting you to just suddenly jump out and then you're talking to, 30,000 people on a stage.
Yeah.
But it's just taking those steps, and every day you'll get better. You'll feel more empowered to do it.
Yeah.
And then it's just as simple as I've got something to say, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Do a story. So you don't, and then that way you're not overthinking it. And you know what? There's times when I've done stories and I've got something to say, and then I'm like, all right, that took me 5 goes, and then at the end it's like, it is what it is, because I'm sick of trying to say this.
Well, I think even Narelle has said, done is better than perfect. So it's about getting a start and making, and like you said, I think it does get easier. I've been a fan of Nobody Sees My Face for a long time, and I'm getting better at it.
Yes.
Because also we've got to get over ourselves and go, people aren't actually, they don't care what we look like, or they're not going to critique it. They're going to be, the people that matter will be interested in the content that you're sharing.
Exactly.
And not be like, oh, she's not as polished as,
as I thought,
as the influencers that we are, constantly seeing. So, like you said, get over ourselves and just do it.
Just get over yourself. It's the same as doing, listening to yourself on the radio or podcasts. Oh my God, I didn't know my voice sounds like that. Oh my God, I'm horrible. I'm never speaking again. It's like, we are not judging your voice ever.
No.
If you've got something important to say and you've got merit, people are going to listen. And by the way, we listen to you every time you talk normally. So how is this different.
Yep.
So, it's not, I think it's just that reminder that, a lot of these things that restrictions we put on ourselves are actually because we're doing it to ourselves.
It's our own stuff.
So you've got to stop, getting in your own way and realizing that when you do show up in your brand and you do share your story and you use your voice and your face and all of the things, people are going to love it.
And
you're
people,
the one,
your target
your people.
audience. Yeah.
You might be cringe, but that's fine. You can just, as long as you still do it, because no one else is cringing. That's just your brain.
And I think also what I really like is, how you've identified that we have had the courage to start a business. Not everybody does that.
No.
So take those little bits of, positivity and, self-belief into the next step. So if you've been afraid of putting your face out there or telling more, so videos are the way to engagement. Is that?
Videos are great. It's, and I mean, I've got to do more of it myself. Practice what I preach. But, it's that showing up, grabbing the camera, talking. It doesn't have to be polished. And my business coach has a similar saying, but, practice makes permanent.
Yeah.
So, and it's get rid of this perfect ideal, because unless you have a team of 20, it's going to be really hard for a one-man band to have that level of, perfection. So, but the more you do it, the better you get. So practice makes permanent.
Yeah. And as a side note, if you see on social media things that are looking really well put together and really polished, just know that it's not one person just figuring out how to do that then. It's probably years of learning, a team of experts and people guiding them or working with them to show those best bits.
Exactly. So. It's, I've been doing this, 13, 14 years now.
Yeah.
So, I do know a lot of other things that some people don't. But I don't expect you as a brand new business owner to know all the things that I know of, especially when it comes to the back end of Meta and that kind of thing. But there's
skills that can be learned.
But just start with the basics. You've started a business, that is huge. So, give yourself the biggest pat on the back, huge high five, whatever you do, high five yourself in the mirror, celebrate that. But, part of that business is showing up. So even if you are, a maker who then sells at the market, what's the difference of you standing at your stall and people talking to you
in front of hundreds of people,
in front of lots and lots of people, of you showing up on social media? There's no difference.
Just getting more comfortable with
just getting comfortable with
comfortable part.
And the thing is, growth is, it's like, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in business, because you need to step out of that comfort zone. You can't stay in that comfort zone because you won't grow.
And what role does consistency play with building that brand identity and showing up in your story?
Everything.
And what can small businesses do? What can they start? So kind of like, what would, in terms of trying to build up that practice of consistency, what's something?
Start with what's sustainable. I've never ever told someone that, you need to be posting 3 times a day, 7 days a week. It's not a sustainable model unless you have staff. All right. And a dedicated team to do that. It takes a lot of effort. So start with consistency of what is easy for you to maintain, and then you can add to it. So, for smaller accounts, you can start with 2 to 3 times a week of posting. You still want to try and do 2 to 3 stories daily, because that will help nurturing your audience. So your stories are really good for nurturing your audience that already follow you. Your reels and your carousels and your posts are very good for reach and engagement and helping new people find you.
Find new customers.
But the where you will get those people who are your biggest fans are the ones that always see your stories. And so remember to have call to actions in there as well, so you get them to answer a question or use the polls. All of those things come down to nurturing that audience. And by showing up, it actually shows that you care about them as much as they care about you.
And it can be, as simple as, okay, if you're a product-based business, you say, look, on a Tuesday, we take all of the orders, we print them all out, and we do something. So go, well, Tuesday could be the day where you set up your time lapse. You can take your photos, your video, and share something there. On a Friday, you might always be doing a podcast, so you might be doing stories about podcasts. But you can work out how you can work it consistently, and you can try and do it each week.
Yeah.
And then by that practice, you'll actually get, more sustained growth as well, and organic growth through that social media.
And I was literally got an email from a client today who was like, oh, can you look at this? It seems too good to be true. And it was a so-called influencer in PR, and I have my air quotes on. And they're like, you'll get this amount of followers from this post if you pay this much, blah, blah. And I went, all right, I'm going to check out her account. Yeah. And people have been paying her for these posts. And it had, the first one I looked at was for a building company. And it had over 1,200 likes on it. But all the comments were, oh my God, slay girl. Or you look so great. And it's like, it's a picture of a building. What's the saying?
Consistency. Oh, the building, right.
Yes, you have all of these comments which are not related to, which means they're all fake bots that are commenting, so it's not real. Yeah. So the rule of thumb is if it seems too good to be true.
And also I think key is knowing what you want to get out of it. So knowing what your target audience is, what your goals are as well, are key to how much you show up. So if you've got really, high aspirations of growth, well then, like you said, you may need to be posting videos more. So how can small businesses determine which social media platforms are best suited for their brand storytelling efforts?
It comes down to where your audience is, so knowing who your audience is imperative for you to be able to know where you should be hanging out online. Yeah. So, if your main audience, retirees, they're not going to be hanging out on TikTok. Yeah. And they're probably not really going to be on Instagram that much. So, your main focus would be Facebook. Yeah. However, you've got to remember that if that is your target audience, you might want to be looking towards what would be the next closest generation, which would be on Instagram. But then you've got to remember to tweak that content per
the
platforms because of who you're talking to, because the audience on Instagram will be different from Facebook. Yeah. So, you'll be talking to people maybe who are preparing to retire, where on Facebook you're talking to those who have already retired. Yeah. And so that way you've kind of got that as a lead through. But if your audience is the younger generations, the Gen Zs or whatever they are, I can't keep up with the alphabet anymore. Gen Alphas and whatever's, they're going to be on TikTok, they're going to be on Snapchat, so then that's where you should be also. So, knowing who your audience is means that you don't need to be everything to everyone because, everyone isn't your target audience. Yeah.
And what sort of tools have you used or would recommend for, being able to capture? So we're talking about trying to do more videos, video editing, on a limited budget without a huge investment, especially for startups.
So there's CapCut. You can use that for free or you can pay. Obviously within Instagram, you can do your reels. TikTok, you can do it within the app as well. Canva is a great tool. You can do lots of video editing in there. I use another program as well for larger videos called Wondershare. But there's lots of different things out there, but keep it simple. So use what the apps give you and
see what you can do within it.
See what you can do within it. You don't have to have a masterpiece. It just has to work. And I always don't overthink it. If you overthink it, then it doesn't happen. So just
get it out there.
Get it out there, get it done. My first reel, I've got no idea what the hell that was about. But it was horrible. And I'm not just saying that, mine are great now. They're probably not in some standards. But
but they are, sorry.
But they are.
Did you want me to jump in there?
Sure, thanks for that.
That's so fantastic.
Thanks. No, but it's still, I'm just doing it because it needs to be done. And, I know that it's valuable. People, when I do have my moments of, oh, wow, that's a really good thing I should share. People enjoy that moments of brilliance. So I should share that with other people. I shouldn't just keep it for myself. That's really selfish.
Yeah. You're doing a really unselfish
thing
by not keeping it and by sharing it as well. So perhaps, getting better at practicing. And, you know, stories are a great way because they're not super permanent.
No.
So just, you know, if you want to have a dabble, that's probably a good way to start, even though you can keep them as highlights and you can keep them there. They're also gone in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So practice, and that's really the key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, there's it's not really a new trend, it's an old trend coming back where a lot of people are creating Insta sites. Yeah. So basically archiving all of your content and then just having like a pretty grid with 9 squares.
Yeah.
What people are then doing is just focusing on reels and stories.
Yeah.
This could work.
Yeah.
And I can see the merit in it, especially if you were time poor. However, you know, 3 years ago when reels were huge and that's where they were pushing all of their energy into, that would have worked fantastically for growth.
Yeah.
These days, you know, they're rewarding everything the same.
Yeah.
So you would, realistically, I think that, you know, while it could work for some, it's not great.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you've got to remember, when you go to someone's profile, what do you look for? Are you there going, oh my God, I'm going to shrink their grid?
Yeah.
Or are you just going, okay, what do they offer? Where are they from? And how do I contact them?
Yeah.
So personally, I would say you will still keep posting. You know, using
not everybody goes to a grid profile to look at.
No. So keep posting to, you know, show up on Explore, keep in people's feeds. You know, use reels, carousels, standard posts, hashtags, you know, there's a mixed review, but I'll be looking at keywords as probably, you know, you can still use your hashtags, use them more though as part of your keywords. So having the keywords within the caption and then the hashtags as well. But, you know, make sure your bio, which is where where the information is actually banging. Because that's your front door. Because you want them to get off that platform. At least with Facebook, you can put a link in there and then people can click away when they see your post. You want to get people to your bio, you know, you want to make sure that it's appealing and you want them to click the links and get to your
website or your booking site or your Shopify website or whatever your call to action is.
You want them off.
Yeah.
I know that their Facebook and Instagram's thing is to keep you on the app, but our jobs are to get them to the website to buy the thing or to order the thing or to book the thing.
To contact you. Excellent. So, is there anything probably as a takeaway just to finish up for, in a nutshell, what your advice would be to small micro businesses that haven't got the confidence, but now that they've listened to you, I think they will have the confidence? What would your last bit of advice be?
Don't overthink it. And just start step by step. You know, show up a little bit daily. You're doing the work, but people need to know that it's you doing the work. And I think that's the really important thing, is like, you're not going to be perfect. So, you know, and don't compare yourself with other accounts that are huge as well. So, you know, we always talk about doing competitor analysis and stuff like that. When you do it, remember to do like for like. So if you're, you know, a brand that's, you know, small and starting out and you're comparing yourself to someone who's been doing it for 15 years, that is a very unfair advantage, and then that's what throws us into the realm of imposter syndrome and all of those other things that we talk about. So, you know, look at other businesses that are in a similar space and stage is a better idea for you to get a gauge on what's going on. And to remember that, they're not perfect either. And that's okay.
And also they're unique and you're unique, so you're going to be bringing something else.
And if one of the other things people ask is like, well, why would someone want to hear from me? Because of what you're bringing to the table. Just because it's kind of like, why would I start a cafe when there's like, you know, already a cafe in town? It's like, well, how many wineries are in the Barossa Valley and there's another one popping up?
That's it.
You know, because each one has their own flavour.
And that's it, their own story to bring to it. And that's our job then as the business owners or the brand owners to share that story.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we don't and keep it to ourselves, that's selfish.
It's very selfish. Share your story.
The most unselfish thing that we can do is to share that story.
And to show up. So, and, you know, if you do have people that, you know, talk about you, then they're jealous.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not your target market, and don't let that get to you because they've got their own issues.
Yeah. No, you find your people and then share your story. I think a really good point as well is to, when you're doing stories and promoting things on that, just thinking about the people they're already engaged with you. They've already started following. They're the ones that are going to see. So to nurture that, I think is a really good point as well. So, and easy to do, simple to implement. Just going to keep
and
showing
it's
up.
sustainable.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Kat.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Regional Collective podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us. And you can join our community each year to get exclusive resources, expert advice, and connect with other regional business owners as a member of the Regional Collective. Check out our website to learn more. There you can also find free tools like strategies to grow locally and the ultimate business startup checklist. Stay connected with us on social media for more tips and updates. Let's thrive together and make your business shine. Keep pushing forward. You're not alone on this journey.